What up, YouTube? It's knowledge is self-determination. So I wanted to address a topic that I'm sure a lot of people talk about. I haven't ran across a lot of people who actually will tackle this issue. Um, but not saying that they have never done it. There are quite a few people who will hit on this, but I'm going to say something. Now, we know that in the black community that we are faced with a lot of adversity. There are a lot of things that we in the black community have to face that other demographics, cultures, races don't really have to face. Um, and a lot of that, the oppression and negativity that we face comes from the American justice system, the judicial system, the court system, the laws, government officials, presidents, so on and so forth, right? But let's talk about some in-house shit for a moment. Let's really talk about some in-house shit. The relationships between black men and black women. Now, we know that during the 80s and 90s, the 70s also, that the black men were taken away from the home. The 70s, they were all killed because most of them were political activists and social activists. A lot of them were murdered. A lot of them were driven out of the country. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of them had their nuts cut off for the most part. The 80s further supplanted this COINTELPRO operation to get the black man out of the black home. They further their plan with that, with Reaganomics and the dumping of crack into our communities, which separated us and divided us more, which took even more black men out of the home. Because now, we have whole communities full of black men who are dope dealers, crack dealers, and stuff like that. So we get these crime laws that basically focus on black men, period. No matter what kind of drug it is, and especially if it's nonviolent, because 9 times out of 10, most of the people in the hood who picked up crack to sell it, picked up dope to sell it. When I say dope, I'm talking about heroin, coke, and all that stuff, marijuana to sell it. They were doing it as a means to an end, not because they wanted to be gangsters. In the 90s, we had Bill Clinton and his administration locking up more black men than any other administration before his. He arrested more black men than any other president that came before him. And now we see in the 21st century, the eradication of black men overtly, because thanks to social media, the world is seeing it. This is something that we've always seen in the black community, but the world is privy to this information now. And so we have all these separate decades, these 4 separate eras, decades in American history, where black men have been marginalized, separated, taken out of the home, disenfranchised, segregated, forced into prison situations, have jobs taken away from them, or the ability to find a job taken away from them, so they're forced to look to the streets. Now we have generation on top of generation on top of generation on top of generation, where the men are disappearing out of the home and appearing more into the prison system. And the lack of the male energy in the home is showing. The lack of the male energy is showing. Not least because the boys are becoming sissified. They're punks. These little dudes nowadays are suckers. And I'm going to tell you this. I work with kids. I can have a conversation with a group of kids, and I can tell you which ones have their father in the house and which ones don't have their father in the house. I can tell you this. I can talk to them, and I know who I'm talking to, because the female influence in a lot of these boys is strong. And it's fucked up, because a lot of these little dudes are suckers. They don't have any accountability, you know what I'm saying? And they run purely off emotion, like a wretched ass female would. You know what I'm saying? Now, this is not a diss video to black women. This is a black people wake the fuck up video, because there are a lot of black men in the community who have taken this less of a masculine role, because they want to just be thugs. They just want to be thugs and shit and run off emotion and have no accountability for anything that they do. But they're not being the type of thugs that I grew up around. Thugs who were actually men. You're a male, but you're not a real man, and you're trying to be a thug. And as we can see, the violence in the black communities has gotten worse because a lot of these dudes are pussyfied. They've modeled their personalities after their mothers. Now, black women, you guys are a part of this situation as well. It's not just all on the men, and it's not just all on the women. But we need to look at these women in our communities too. We got women out here fighting their own daughters in the streets. We have young girls fighting other girls' mothers, jumping them. You know what I'm saying? Women fighting each other in the streets over dumb shit, over stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? We got women getting into. I hooked up with some of my homies this weekend, right? And one of the brothers introduced us to a new cat. You know what I'm saying? And so we chopping up. We at the subway or whatever, chopping it up with this dude, and he telling us how him and his girl got into an argument, and she maced him. The police show up, right? Police show up. She's talking to the cops or whatever. She's outside talking to the cops. The man, you know what I'm saying, trying to come outside or whatever. The cop telling him, oh, you can't come outside. You got to stay in here. And homeboy was like, the fuck you mean I got to stay in here? Like, motherfucker, I pay rent here. How the fuck you going to tell me I can't come outside my own spot? Until there's a law that tells me I can't walk in and out of a place where I pay rent, the fuck out of my face. But the cops were trying to talk the woman into pressing charges against him, into turning on him so they can lock his ass up. Now, he was arrested. But the woman didn't press charges, obviously, because he's free now. He's out on the street, so she didn't press charges. But the cops took him in as a precautionary thing so they can get him into the system, right? Because that's the only reason why they did it. They didn't have to take him in, but they wanted to get him in the system. His fingerprints, his mug shots, document all the tattoos he has, this, that, and the third. So if they have to look for his ass, they have a composite. They know exactly who and what they're looking for, right? That's the only reason why they took him in. They didn't have to take him in because, like I said, the lady didn't press charges. But his woman maced him. The police were called, and he was still arrested and booked. Basically, he was booked. All because his woman was out of fucking control. The same brother, you know what I'm saying? He talking business with my other homeboy. His girl called. He's sitting next to me. We in my man truck. I'm in the back. You know what I'm saying? He was in the back seat with me, sitting next to me or whatever. His woman called. I can hear her through his phone. He didn't have it on speaker. I can hear her. What are you doing? Where you go at? Where are you? He like, I'm out front. I'm right out front of the apartment. I'm talking to the brothers, blah, 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 trying to get this business done. She's still going on and on. Like, you ain't tell me anything. He was like, calm. Like, she was just going ham because he left back out of the apartment. You women have to, see, a lot of what's happening is due to white supremacy. See, white supremacy has let black women know that they give them the power to turn their back on the black man. If he does something to you, call us. We'll take care of that motherfucker for you. Black women are turning black men over to the enemy of everyone. You understand what I'm saying? They are turning black men over to these motherfuckers because they're emotional, because they don't think with logic and rational thought, because they think only with their emotions, like a fucking child. Instead of calming yourself, breathing, and trying to think rationally, that sort of process is beyond you. Because in our society, women are allowed to act like fools because the white man is going to back them, especially when it comes to turning against the black man. Simple, easy, right? But see, this is the type of dude I am. I'm not going to jail for nothing. You gonna call the police and tell them that I hit you when I didn't hit you? I'm gonna make sure I fuck you up real good before they get there. Because if I'm gonna go to jail for fucking assault, I might as well fuck you up in the process. Don't call the police on me and I hadn't done anything to you. Call the police on me and tell them that I did something to you. While you're on the phone, I'm gonna break your motherfucking face. I'm gonna rock you. Real talk. I don't give a fuck who it is. I'm not advising anybody to do this. This is just how I think. This is how I do shit. I'm not going to prison for nothing. Because if you're black, they don't give a fuck if you can prove that you didn't hit or not. All they need to do is file the complaint. All they have to do is say it, and your ass is grass. But anyway, that was just a little rant. Black women are allowed to be overly emotional. They're allowed to use the system to constantly be the enemy to black men instead of standing up behind black men and saying, you know what, we got into an argument. I don't know why the fuck you here. Leave my man the fuck alone. You want to see him get carted off. You want to see him have that negativity placed onto him, because you are allowed by the system of white supremacy to not take any responsibility or have any accountability for anything that you do. You have allowed the enemy of us all to get inside your mind and make you think he's doing something good for you, when what he's doing is actually fucking destroying the black family, which ultimately destroys the black community, which negates any black people in this country, keeps them from being able to nation build, right? Black women need to take just as much accountability for the bullshit that happens in the black community as black men. It's not just us. It is also the women as well. I'm not assigning any blame to anybody. I'm just looking within my own community and seeing that the men are absentee. The men, a lot of these men aren't men anymore. They will jump up at the opportunity to take off on a kid that they had with a woman. A lot of these women are using the system that fucks all of us over as a tool against the black man. They're using the system as a tool against the black man. They feel empowered because the white man will give them a check. The white man will garnish your wages so she can live every month if you have a kid with her. You know what I'm saying? The white man will make sure that if you divorce her, you're going to be paying her alimony for the rest of her fucking life. They'll make sure that to destroy the black community, they will make sure that, and women are allowing themselves to be used as a weapon against their own fucking communities. Just like these black male rappers are being used as weapons against the black community, spewing this garbage and this bullshit into the ears of these kids who are being raised in households full of fucking women, growing up with female stereotypical traits. Overly emotional, not logical, not rational. Like I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna tell you this this one story, and then I'm in the video. So at the school I work at, we got a lot of talented football playing brothers up here, right? Some of these brothers are so talented that some college recruiters have come to them and talked to them like, you know, we really looking at you. We think you'll be a good fit for our team and yada, yada, yada. These little dudes, before they've even heard talks of going into the NFL, they've already gassed themselves up to think that they're the shit. They don't show up for class. They strut around the school like they're the shit. They're still in high school, right? They're still in high school. A lot of these kids have terrible grades, but they're still in high school. And they think they've made it already. You haven't even tried out for an NFL team. You haven't even gone to the combine. But because you live in a house with just a mother who is not going to think logically and rationally about the situation, you're not looking at the big picture. Whereas if I talk to a football player who dad is constantly schooling him, he has a plan going forward, and he's not basing the next 20 years of his life on getting into a league where the odds are stacked highly against him. We need more unity in the black community. Black women, stop trying to demonize the black man. Stop using the white man system to destroy the black family. Black men, grow your balls back. Stop being suckers. You know what I'm saying? Stop being overly emotional, non-accountability having ass, female character trait having ass motherfucking men. Be a man. We need more black mentorship for the men and the women in the communities, the young boys and the young girls. We need that. It's lacking and it's destroying our communities. We need unity within the black community.